Hey, I'm meteorologist Doug Myers with the latest forecast heading into this Friday. Well, we had highs in the low 80s yesterday, and I think we're going to do it again, maybe a few degrees warmer across the area, with many spots in the low to mid 80s once again, as we'll have plenty of sun after a little bit of early morning fog. So with that sun, the UV index is back at a 6 for today. So 30 minutes of bird time. Please make sure that you're still wearing that sunscreen if you're going to be out for an extended period of time, not only today, but for the next several days as the sunshine and the heat continues for the area. Nothing going on in northeast Kansas or for the region through the weekend. So great weather for any traveling you have to do. You can see the closest rain, especially by Sunday evening, out towards the Rockies, out towards Denver and the surrounding areas. So that's about it. There really isn't anything to talk about precipitation-wise. So let's talk about temperatures. They're going to be heating up mid to even upper 80s as we head into Saturday and on Sunday. Maybe low 90s on Sunday. So get ready for some heat. And the dry conditions are going to continue. So let's take a look at the latest drought monitor showing the abnormally dry conditions and also a little bit of a moderate drought along and north of I-70 and east of Highway 75 along the Missouri border. Keeping in mind that the rain that we've had since Tuesday is not included in this data. Remember, data goes from Tuesday to Tuesday, but these outlook comes out on Thursday. So we have that 2-day period or 48-hour period where University of Nebraska, which the drought monitor comes from, has to compile the data. So that's going to be something that we'll have to watch out for any possible changes next week, even though we stay completely dry. How does this compare to what we had last week? Well, last week you'll notice that there was a little bit more of abnormally dry conditions out in western Kansas, but for here in eastern Kansas, it pretty much stayed the same. And then 6 months ago, we had a lot more moderate drought, and also a year ago had more of a moderate drought across much of the area, especially along and north of I-70 in eastern Kansas. So it's an improvement. We could definitely use more rain, especially considering that we are still below average, especially for the year, everywhere with the exception of Manhattan on this graphic. These monthly precipitation or monthly rainfall totals, they're going to be, that's it. We're no more rain for the rest of the month. Now, the departure from normal will continue to come down because obviously we at least have a little bit of rain of what is considered normal on a daily basis. So that'll continue to come down. Likely going to get below average for Emporia by the end of the month. It may stay above average in Manhattan though. But we are going to be continuing to monitor the dry conditions. And the humidity, well, it continues to stay dry for today with dew points in the 50s. However, it may come up a little bit at times in the low to mid 60s over the weekend. So that'll be something to watch out for, to where maybe a heat index value 1, perhaps 2 degrees warmer than the temperature could be possible. And then it comes back down early next week. Temperature-wise, we're going to generally be in the 80s over the next 8 days. Generally low to mid 80s, but yes, at times, especially over the weekend, upper 80s. And generally mostly sunny skies. A little bit more cloud cover for Monday and Tuesday, but still no rain. In fact, the European for the next 8 days may show a little bit of rain in the Concordia area, but then once again into that Friday night and Saturday and Sunday time period, that's when that rain chance increases across northeast Kansas. Let's take a look at the GFS. Again, not much through the next 8 days, but once again into that Friday night through next weekend time period, it's not quite as much. It almost reverses of what it had yesterday. The GFS was the one that brought us more rain in that 9-10 day outlook, whereas the European had us getting very little, if anything at all. Now it's reverse, where the European model is now indicating rain compared to the GFS across the area. So a lot of uncertainty, but at least one of the models is indicating at least some rain at some point in time for this time next week and or the weekend. But it does look like we do get back in that green in that 6 to 10 day outlook with probability of wetter than normal conditions, but we're still in the red with probability of above average temperatures. Best case scenario, we have temperatures that could get down in the mid 50s. Otherwise, I think a lot of these lows will generally be in the upper 50s and even a few low 60s. which it still isn't bad. That's still quite comfortable compared to the warm temperatures we're going to have in the 80s for highs the next 8 days. So cool mornings, warm afternoons, not bad weather pattern. We'll continue to keep you updated if anything changes, especially with respect to rain, especially once we get into next weekend. Have a great day.